After watching this video, you will be able to complete the Southwest USA challenge on hard difficulty. The rewards for this challenge are, as always, a bunch of dinosaur color genes. For this challenge in particular, you will unlock some desert skins for marine, flying and medium carnivores, and some tropical skins for large carnivores. You can see some of these in the background whilst I'm talking. In the first part of this video, I will be showing you the park I've personally built to get 5 stars on this challenge with, and I will give you general tips towards completing all challenges in the game. In the second part, I will give you information about the challenge rules for this particular challenge itself. They are quite important to take into consideration. I will even answer questions such as, does the aggressive or skittish traits reduce the dinosaur's lifespan like other genes, as this is one of the challenge rules. And in the third and final section, I will give you a step-by-step instruction manual on how to start your park. This is a special section for this challenge in particular because to start effectively is very complicated on this map. Here you can see a snapshot of my park just before I fired all of my scientists and I reached 5 stars. As always guys, as I mentioned in the previous tips, always fire your scientists once you have about 4.5, 4.6, 4.7 appeal rating, because that guarantees you to reach 5 stars. You can actually check the numbers, how much money you need. Like here I can see that next star is at 1.8, I'm at 1.7 almost, so that's, I only need like about 100,000 income, and my scientists actually almost take 200,000 in income, so I'm guaranteed to win. The issue is if you don't fire them, your dinosaurs might start dying, and that's not really an issue, but it's always time. And the most precious resource in challenges is not the money, it's not the appeal, it's your sanity. Like, this was like above part-time, but even the challenges that I completed under part-time for the first attempt, it just eats your sanity when you have to mess around with building especially, and dinosaurs dying, and you have to wait for hatching, and it's just an issue. Anyways, always fire your scientists to reach 5 stars. Always save before you do that, because it's not the end of the world if you don't save and you didn't reach 5 stars, but it can be really awkward when you have to rehire scientists to cure a dinosaur or whatever. Now, this challenge is probably the hardest one out of all of them. This is the final challenge that actually gives any rewards, so it is pretty difficult, as you can imagine. It might be more challenging to complete the previous challenge. If you recall that one, you are in the Northwest USA and you can only have carnivores, and that was pretty difficult for me because I don't know if I can show you an image later, but not many carnivores can coexist with each other. I actually made, so I made this graph to show dinosaur relations. You can just screenshot this is really helpful, to be honest. And the previous challenge is pretty difficult because, as you can see, only really like medium carnivores can coexist with each other. Small carnivores suck. Large carnivores at least have high appeal, but even in this challenge you don't actually have all the herbivores unlocked, and you do have a lot of stegosaurids unlocked. But as you can see, stegosaurs hate each other, besides like these special relations. Ceratopsids hate stegosaurs and vice versa, and ankylosaurids hate stegosaurs and vice versa, because I guess Stegosaurs are from the Jurassic era and these guys are from Cretaceous, so it's kind of like weird. They're weirded out by each other. So I do not recommend Stegosaurids for this challenge, even though I have a couple. So the good news is, as you can see, the way I start my challenges, I tend to plan out stuff because it just, again, your actual sanity is more important than resources or money, and it helps with my sanity. But as you can see, luckily, you don't have to build that much. I would say around maybe a little bit more than half of this area needs to be used up, but not everything as I originally planned. And I didn't have to be so conscious of space, as you can see. Also, it's really interesting, the way you want to start every single challenge you do in this game is you check this. This is the first thing you do. You go in here, and you click on Appeal, and for all other challenges, I needed to reach the species target to be able to get 5 stars. As you can see, for this challenge, I only needed 20 out of 22, but this challenge has the most species target. Even the previous one was like 15 carnivores or something like that, but you could have herbivores as well, some small herbivores. This is really difficult, but don't worry, you only need about like 19, 20. A good tip, once you get the money rolling, this is a really challenging park. You can really easily go bankrupt and you are forced to restart, so always save. After every storm, just save. After like 30 minutes of progress, always save. If you are going bankrupt, as I was a lot of the times, what you can do, just take your helicopter or your jeeps or your medical stuff. You can take pictures with all 3 of these. And do this a couple of times and you're gonna get like, you know, like we just got like around 100,000. I'm just taking the same pictures here. 120. And this will help you to not go bankrupt. Every time your jeeps visit an area and you are still starved for money in the beginning and mid game, just take some pictures and this will help you out a great deal. Okay, a couple of tips regarding this challenge, or I should say all challenges. This is how you want to go about it. So create an exhibit. I created, you see, more of them to plan ahead. Create an exhibit, put a proper enough viewing gallery or some kind of viewing gallery, and then around that viewing gallery, always put the free amenity stuff. Always put, you know, restroom and emergency shelter. You don't need to put a hotel. You can put a hotel wherever you want in the park. And make sure you do this with the least amount of paths possible, because if I did, this is really important. So this is where the viewing gallery is. If I were to put like many roads around here, and if I put the amenity stuff here, the percentage of coverage would go down. Look, I'm nearly perfect with these. That's because I put these next to the viewing galleries. So you want to create these hubs around each viewing gallery. I will show you a more complicated hub. So here we have actually 2 exhibits. There's a viewing gallery here, but there's a relatively small amount of pathing here. And very, very important, because this map is so fucked. Like there's no space whatsoever. Also plan ahead and make sure to include this was the first challenge I used jeeps, but monorail station is the best. So always put monorail stations between these hubs. There's a second hub. Actually, this is the second hub. First hub monorail, second hub monorail, third hub monorail, and the And always put amenity stuff at these places, because you will be starved for money otherwise. My transport rating is 73%. You have to be, if you are planning ahead like me, like here, your transport rating will go down even if these two or these three were connected and you disable this. Let's say like I didn't have dinosaurs here. I'm just planning ahead. I connected a monorail station next to the other ones that are functional. I disabled it because I don't want people to come here. The issue is there's a bug where even if you disable the fucking monorail station, your transport rating will go down. So don't connect the monorail stations where there are no dinosaurs. You don't want people to go. And this will instantly improve your transport rating. And you might say, Two-Siders, why the fuck do I care about transport rating? Let me tell you, like, 20% of transport rating increases your guess by like, I don't know, 20%. It's insane. You want to have your transport rating at maximum. Look, shelter coverage, 100%. Restroom coverage, almost 100%. All of these, as we've seen, 100%. Transport rating, 100%, because I'm using a little amount of roads. Make sure to upgrade your roads. You will actually need main thoroughfare. White path will not be available, but since the most recent update 4, you will just see if you need to upgrade your paths, because these would be orange or red, like here, you see? Because look, I forgot to upgrade this little path. Bam, green. But again, these are tips for all challenges you can use. So always create these hubs, connect them with a monorail station. You can also connect them with a Jurassic tour, like I've done. Here's the Jurassic tour. But a monorail station is just much easier to plan around.
5 stars.
And look, we've reached 5 stars even without firing our scientists, so let me save this snapshot as well.
Okay, that's enough.
Let's talk about this challenge specific tips, okay? I also forgot to say that in each hub you probably want to put, or between 2 hubs, one response facility, one paleomedical facility, but you can just kind of guess. Or like here I put one for these 2 exhibits. Some other times I might have used one response facility for 3 exhibits. It's up to you. Now, if you click on here, we go back, missions and contracts. So you can read the challenge conditions. Terrain editing costs a lot more. This is not really an issue. Don't really decorate your parks by using the terrain tool. This is an issue at the very beginning when you're placing like fiber and leaf for your herbivores, but overall it's okay. Power source is 8. Who cares? It doesn't matter at all. However, this is the most important thing about this challenge. So lifespan is reduced by 90% for dinosaurs with negative health and combat traits. What this means, if we head to my only hatchery, so health and combat are here. If these are red, and again, it depends on the dinosaur. Some dinosaurs have negative traits in whatever. However, it's important to note that since the most recent update, it actually made this challenge more difficult, because in the desert environment, every single dinosaur has 25% chance by default to be thirsty, and this will reduce their lifespan by 90%, as the challenge said. But as I said, it can also be combat. So Dryosaurus has an innate chance to be vulnerable. Again, it can die in 90% less health means that they die in like less than an hour. maybe half an hour. Some dinosaurs like the Dimetrodons have an innate chance to be unfit, and again, they will die. What you will need to do, and this can be really expensive and you might require a lot of scientists with genetic skills, to unlock these genes. So let's go to the unlock screen. There are actually different unlock prerequisites than in a sandbox game. So as you can see, I've unlocked all of them, but the way you unlock these, unlike in sandbox, is you pretty much have to release almost every single time 2 dinosaurs with the negative traits. This is pretty awkward because you are starved for money constantly, and you essentially have to release dinosaurs that will die in half an hour. Now what I've done is I created a little paddock here, and normally what I would do is I would create these dinosaurs and I would sell them instantly, but again, since they have 90% less lifespan, they are not worth anything at all really. And this is really annoying, but you don't need to research everything. Again, the social traits like needy, intolerant, and to answer your question, again, every carnivore has an innate chance to be aggressive, and you cannot reduce that. And some herbivores have an innate chance to be skittish, and you cannot get rid of that. But because these are social traits, they will not affect your dinosaur, so they don't matter. Don't worry, at least these don't matter. So yeah, you would have to create, and again, you have to research a lot of different dinosaurs, because only, for instance, Dryosaurus and flying reptiles have the innate chance to be vulnerable, right? An early dinosaur to have the unfit trait would be Dimetrodon, as you can see. So you have to research different types of dinosaurs, and this can be really expensive. Always check in the expedition map how much doing a expedition costs, because for instance this one costs over 600,000. This one's only like 400, but even that's expensive. This one's more than 1 million. 5,000, and this can, for the same dinosaur, for the I've had an issue with the Pachycephalosaurus, because one expedition site cost 400,000, and the other one, which also just had this dinosaur, it was only 100,000. So always check the prices, maybe you can create cheaper expeditions. Another important thing, so I would recommend you to take this very slowly, always save, especially after fucking storms. Create these dinosaurs, these weak little shitty dinosaurs, sell them, and then unlock the traits. These are generally not really expensive. This is super expensive, but most of them are like 100,000, 200,000. At the very beginning of the game, a great tip is to unlock the long-lived trait. If you release dinosaurs with the short-lived, and that's generally really easy to get. I can't remember which dinosaur, but one of the starting dinosaurs has that. You can just unlock that like really quickly, and that will save you a lot. Like having the long-lived trait is great because again, you don't want your dinosaurs to die before the challenge. Another generic tip for this map, at the beginning, as you know, you capture wild dinosaurs. Now these will always die before you can finish your challenge, unless you are like a god speedrunner or something. This is fine, however you need to prepare that your money will really dip, and all of the 4 species will generally start dying at the same time. So prepare for that, make more dinosaurs and prepare for the dip in your spending. Probably the most important thing to talk about regarding this tip, and I don't know if does it even show you in the challenge? It doesn't even show you here. So this challenge, all of your scientists they essentially, you need to essentially pay them like 3 times as much money. Not even 3 times, it's more than that. Like, if we go to recruit a scientist, you can easily, like, this is level 4, okay, but it's 65,000. 69,000, nice. 95,000. This guy must have been like 50,000 by default. 85,000. 133,000. Oh my god. What will lose you the challenge more than anything are the fucking scientists. Like, I will tell you how to start the park at the very beginning, in the next section, but you really need to keep a tight scientist schedule. At the very beginning, just don't just hire scientists. You will only need like 3 or 4, right? This can really mess you up. And because scientists cost so much, it's actually an upside, because at the very end you can almost guarantee that you will reach 5 stars once you have like 4.5, 4.6, 4.7, and then you fire your scientists, because that will tremendously increase your income. Scientists that I hired for this, you will always need a logistics specialist for these challenges, because you always need to research the simplest buildings. Like here, the viewing galleries needed to be researched. All the amenity stuff needs to be researched, except the small amenities. Restrooms and emergency shelters need to be researched. I would recommend not to research higher grade fences. They are really not that important, because you are probably going to keep your carnivores like comforted anyways. So you don't need to have the fences, but you will need to research the feeders and whatnot. Another important upgrade, because your scientist salaries are so high, is the control. This one, control center efficient administration. This will decrease your scientist salaries, and because they have a fuck ton of salary, like a high amount of, really expensive is what I'm trying to say. This will come in handy. Another one is, this is always a good one. So, staff center improved costs. You can equip this multiple times in your staff centers. This will decrease the cost of every type of task, from extraction to fossil finding, whatever. As with other challenges, always upgrade your amenity buildings as fast as you can research them. Even in a relatively low popularity area, it will still give you more profits than using a small or medium amenity. And as always, in case you didn't know, don't just equip everything. Only equip as much as you need for the white bar, because all of these cost money, right, to upkeep. So try to get like near perfect for these, and you will have at the very end like 60,000, 68,000. It's pretty good. And I have like 5 of these hubs, as I previously mentioned. So without these, you cannot really reasonably complete these challenges until 5 stars. Another tip that I kind of forgot, as you can see, I have more money than I can spend like in the end of every challenge. Once you get to this point and you start creating dinosaurs, just incubate all of them. So you have like, I don't know, 8 Pachycephalosaurus, and you like only need 3. You only need a population of 3 for them to be like having perfect comfort. Just create like 10 of them if you can. Carnivores, same thing. I could just have created 1 baryonyx, and I have like 4 or 5, and this will tremendously increase your appeal. As you can see, I have like 1300 appeal here, and this will help you a lot. You might as well spend your money, right? So let's talk about the very beginning of the challenge, what you need to do step by step, because it's very important. The reason why it's very important is because you have a very little money to work with, and even if you do everything perfectly, it's just going to be very hard to get your park started. So you get into the challenge, pause the game, continue this shit. Look, we've already lost money. We've already lost literally almost $40,000. Why? because our scientists cost a fortune. Like, this is how much a level like 4 scientist costs on Sandbox, right? You pretty much need to fire them. Don't fire them if they have at least like, check, at least 4 logistic skills, because you will need 4 logistic skills to research the viewing gallery, and this is super evil, guys. You can only use 2 scientists for this. The viewing gallery is, if you don't research this and you run out of money, you lost the challenge. If your guests cannot view at least 1 dinosaurs, you cannot open your park. They will not come in your park. So it's important to get scientists that are at least like 2 logistic skills across 2 scientists, if that makes sense. Because you will not get someone who has like 4 logistic skills. So the very beginning of the game, before you do anything, look, I paused the game as quickly as I could, and we've already lost like half of $100,000. Just fire these guys. These guys are useless. And at the very beginning, you just don't have enough money to branch out like I did. Like, you've seen my park, it was pretty cool, but at the very beginning, you are just forced to create an enclosure literally right here. I don't know what's with these challenges. At the very beginning of the challenge, I recommended you guys to delete the fucking arrival point and just put it in a more central location. I do recommend you to do that, but not at the very beginning. You cannot afford to do anything like that at the very beginning. The only thing you can do is create, if you want to be really easy on yourself, create 2 exhibits, because there are 4 wild dinosaurs you can gather, and you will have to gather them manually with your helicopter. One of them is a Chasmosaurus, well, a couple of Chasmosauruses, which are pretty cool and they're high appeal and whatever. You have some Ankylosaurids and Compsognathuses. All 3 of these can go in the same exhibit. You can put the Ceratopsid, the Ankylosaurid, and the Compsognathuses in the same initial exhibit, and that's gonna be the easiest thing. It's not super easy to shoot these, and by the way, there's exactly 14 of these, so keep shooting until you have 14. But it's not that difficult, because their hitboxes are actually larger than what they appear. But it's still pretty difficult. I would probably start with the Chasmosaurus and move them there. I'm failing miserably at this, but either way, collect your sleep your 14 Compsognathuses, and any one of them that you didn't dart actually do appear on your whatever radar kind of thing, if the fucking research available wasn't in the way. Once you dart them, they will not appear. So this is how you can make sure that you have all 14 of these. Again, you can start with wherever. The 4th dinosaur species is a Chungkingosaurus. It's a stegosaur. And as I said, stegosaurs cannot go in the same exhibit as ceratopsids and ankylosaurids. The second exhibit will be for these guys. I guess you can put the Compsognathuses with these guys, but I'm not sure if these guys are fine with carnivores. I haven't checked that. But you will have to have at least 2 exhibits at the very beginning. So you dart them, you move them, you can use the multi-select mode to move multiple dinosaurs. Hang on. So you don't have to do it one by one. Again, dart all of these. I just darted a couple for this video and move them over, and I would say once you moved all of the dinosaurs over, that's when you go and hire new scientists. And the first thing, promise me that the first thing you will research will be the viewing gallery, because without this you cannot open your park. After that, I would research power, personally. By the way, I didn't say, but when a storm comes, all of your power stations need to reboot. Just place generators in every hub, because at least in the middle of the storm you will get some income when you have power. Your income will be reduced a lot, but at least you will get some income. At the very beginning, when you are firing your scientists, you can also just like disable a lot of these buildings because they are eating electricity anyways. So yeah, you got your 2 exhibits. Make sure to place the whatever, the ground leaf, ground fiber, whatever they need. The compsognathus will need meat to be researched, which is ouch. And they will also need some sand, which is okay. And then make sure to place your viewing gallery and open your park. Place your small amenity. Use your scientists again to research the electricity stuff, so you are paying less for electricity, the small power station I mean. And then go and research also guest comfort, and you will only need at least 2 logistics skills for this. This will unlock the hotel, the shelter, and the restroom. Buy all of these because you will get more guests in. And actually at this point, like honestly, like at this point you have all the dinosaurs, you have the viewing gallery, you will get a lot of money very quickly. Make sure to save up at least around $3 or $4 million, and then you can go and create the little hubs. As I said, create a hub here if you want, here, here, here you can have one, here you can have a pretty big one. And at the very beginning, a particular easiness about this challenge is that you don't need 2 stars to unlock the monorail. You will only need 0.8 stars, which is really good. Unlock the monorail as well as fast as you can, and pretty much everything else, as I said, you know, always upgrade your amenity stuff. There's a bunch of great infrastructure stuff. Unlock the staff center early as well, because you will need to rest your scientists. Unlock the paleomedical facility. At the very beginning, your dinosaurs will just get sick all the fucking time. But a good thing about this map, another easiness about this map, is that almost like not even once did I have to transport a dinosaur to cure them in a paleomedical facility. Your dinosaurs will get automatically sick when in a sandstorm, but that's an illness that you cannot cure. It will just go away naturally, right? This challenge is pretty easy. I would say it's easier than the previous carnivore challenge, as I said, but you will need to know these things, and you will need to plan ahead and make sure you don't fuck up this initial 2 exhibits until you have like $3 or $4 million at least, or wait for the next sandstorm. $3 or $4 million, wait for the next sandstorm, and then do it, right? So this has been Two-Siders. If you'd like a video on the previous 3, I think, challenges, then do let me know. They are pretty easy to do as well. Thanks for watching, and I shall see you in the next one. Bye bye.